Yo, gang-a-lang. What's up, guys? Got some news to share with you, but before I do that, I really want to thank you guys for doing the B-Day video. Star, thanks for putting that together. LJ, coordinating as always, and everyone that gave their inputs into it. I really appreciate it. The humor was super funny. The sincerity was really heartfelt. The AI that was really funny. Since we're definitely making that AI push, and for those of you that watched it and saw those AI clips, I mean, like, seriously, guys, this is gonna be a wild year for technology. And the NOVAEO uniform, some of you guys really nailed that. No, the whole thing was awesome. It really does make me feel good, especially because my dream of NOVAEO, my vision for myself, is to be a much more engaged, like intimately engaged into the team and the culture than I have been really for the past few years, ever since we've become a bigger team and have been really trying to like right the ship financially. I'm not participating in the weekly contests. I'm not participating in like the Zest channels or anything like that, and I really want to be. So that's gonna be one of my goals for this year. Is I need to get myself to a place where I don't feel so stressed and overwhelmed with trying to help out in like the day-to-day workings of the business, helping everyone sort out like little issues or damage control sometimes when that's necessary. In addition to my normal roles. And that's definitely coming. And in fact, like a big part of what I'm doing, I don't like this little thing right here. Way better. A big part of what I'm doing here at this beautiful villa in Puerto Escondido, and I'm actually moving tomorrow or Wednesday to another one that's also equally amazing, is I'm creating tons and tons and tons of content that's going to be used for new applicants so they have a better understanding of what NOVAEO truly has to offer, so we can start recruiting some like of the best of the best of the best, because we are getting ready to expand, not like immediately, but this year. I'm going to touch on that a little bit. But content for the general public to start building our social media brand, NOVAEO, our website. Tiffany and Akash have been working on the website. Akash, it looks really cool. I love the aesthetic. That color turquoise, that's just so good. Yeah, and then for you guys, the content for you guys, because especially for those of you that have been around a while, you've been hearing me say words like pod and sometimes guild, and all these things, teal organizational structure and all that stuff. And I know that none of you guys have a very firm understanding of what the hell I'm talking about, because I've never really explained it that well, because there's inspiration getting pulled from different things, but when you look at it as a whole system, it's never been done before. And it takes a lot of work on my end to put it into communication format for others to be able to understand it. And kind of like what I was just talking about before, how I haven't felt that I've been able to spend like my attention being more intimate with you guys and more engaging. Also along those lines, I haven't been able to focus on this like bigger picture development of org structure and culture and stuff like that. And it's like for years it's been on my mind, like, oh, next month, and it's just never happened, because constantly putting out fires, constantly trying to find more investment money, or whatever these things are that just happen and suck my attention. This kind of stuff has never been done before, so it's really left NOVAEO in this like place of relative chaos. I mean, not chaos is a really strong word. I don't mean it to be quite that strong, but not as like in flow as how I ultimately envision NOVAEO to be, and is the purpose of this org structure that I'm creating. It's meant to have like flow being a strength over a normal corporate hierarchical culture and org structure. So anyway, I'm developing a lot of that stuff. I got like content, equipment, see lights, and then over there got a whiteboard, doing all kinds of stuff to help explain this stuff to you. But why this is what I'm talking about right now, the cool news that I have is, oh, I see you, little guy. I see you. That's not your spot. You go over here. He wants to join NOVAEO. I understand. I understand. If you come back over here, I'll let you stay. But you have to earn it. All right. So, yeah, the cool news that I have is, well, it's like bittersweet in a way. For the first time in a very long time, we had a profitable month, February. Not 100% accurate. Let's see, January, this past January, we profited $600, which for those of you not tied into our numbers at all, you know, we're looking at like, we're on par with $700,000 a month in revenue. So that's a lot of operating expenses that trim that all the way down to $600. So $600 is, you know, we basically call that break even. The January the previous year, we were actually profitable, but that was because November and especially into December of that previous year, we like slashed our advertising monstrously. So it gave us like a false sense of profitability, but really it was just a massive cut that we had to do. And it drastically like reduced our key, for those on Amazon, like our keyword ranking and stuff like that. So that wasn't a true like profitable month. On our books it was profitable, but it was like we were still on a decline overall. And before that, I honestly don't even know when our last profitable month was. And so it's been a hell of a journey because I didn't tell you the number. We profited. There's usually like a couple more adjustments that have to get made, so this might move a little bit, but $36,000 on the shortest month of the year. It's about 10% shorter than other months. So, you know, that 10%, 36, that basically puts us up to $40,000. And that's incredible because October, we lost over $100,000. November, wait, was it? I think October was a six-figure loss. I think August may have been a six-figure loss. And then if you combined like November and December together, that was like a six-figure loss. So remember, we had to go through that contraction phase for those that were around during the late fall, early winter. And that sucked. You know what I mean? That's always like a last thing that I want to do. And it was the last thing that I wanted to do. I mean, it was the last thing that we did. Most businesses had done their slashes like a few months prior. So we were pretty late to that game. But like, holy shit. We literally went from losing six figures a month. We said, hey guys, we got to regroup. You know, what we're doing is not working. We got to realign our attention. We got to shake things up a little bit. We got to cut some energy, introduce new energy. Wasn't difficult. And here we are now. And we still have so much value on the table with just the stuff that we're working on now, meaning like our Amazon content refresh. Like as that new content gets launched, I mean, that's going to help us grow. So like the listings are already there, the reviews are already there, the products are already made, we have inventory, all that stuff, just changing the content around, which is already underway. And there's several other projects too that it's basically like all we need is time, and those are going to grow us more. And then our warehouse has been a little bit behind, and now they're starting to catch up. So like as that catches up, that's going to be, oh, I see you. All right, little guy. New NOVAEO team member. We just expanded. All right, so yeah, I mean, that's pretty fucking cool, honestly. That's pretty wild that we were able to shake things up that much. So that said, just so everyone knows, March I'm expecting lower profit numbers. It's because there's sometimes just like annual expenses and stuff like that just get hit on a month. So it makes it seem like the month performed less than it actually did. So, you know, for February, we almost didn't have any legal fees, like hiring our attorneys, our business law attorneys and stuff like that. Whereas some months it's like 10 to 15 grand. Some months we have 5 Fridays in the month, which means an extra week of payroll gets added into it, so that can make the month look like it's underperforming when it's really not. So I think March is going to show a little bit less in terms of profit. Maybe not. I guess it kind of depends on the way things go from here. But we still have upward trajectory. Like our revenue numbers, we just spiked. Something went crazy with our natural sweeteners, especially monk fruit. I guess like some major influencers started talking about natural sweetener in general. It wasn't even just our brands. It's like all of Amazon just like stocked out on monk fruit. So like that's pretty cool. So like we had a huge spike and now we're kind of leveling off with that spike, but that's good. I mean, a spike and then dropping would be, you know, not so great, but a spike and then leveling is pretty cool. And then, like I said, content refresh and all the other projects, that's going to keep us climbing a little bit too. So we have a target for $1 million a month in our top line revenue for this year, and I think we're for sure going to hit that. You know, knock on wood. That was wood. So anyway, what's this mean to you guys? Being profitable. So some of the stuff I've been working on, like I said, is creating the actual structure that I've always been talking about, but never really putting into motion. And so what this looks like with like the pod system and the guilds and all that stuff, which I know you guys are gonna still be like a little bit confused, and that's fine. Because once I actually finish those particular videos, then you'll get an idea. But this is something that I work on. So like this is my role of strategy and vision at work. And I know you can't really read all this, it's tiny, that's fine. Basically just look at how many of these like little circles and shit are all over the place. This is actually that's probably about maybe, I don't know, 15% of what NOVAEO either currently has going on in terms of projects or functionality. So a project would be like something that we're doing, and like content refresh. It'll get to a point where we've refreshed all of our content. Project finished. Functionality, I'm calling like customer service. You know, we're never, only if we stop sales will we stop customer service, right? Like receiving sales, and hopefully that never happens. So anyway, every project, every function is a circle in there, and I probably only have about 15% of them in there right now. So despite how much you saw, either I need to get, some of those need to get broken down into like right now I have one giant circle, and it needs to get broken down into smaller circles because there's actually multiple projects that go on for that particular thing. And there's just more that's going to be planned over the next like 3 to 6 months that needs to get added in there as well. And basically what that shows in there is, it's kind of like how are the projects related to each other? Because it's not just like all marketing projects are related to each other. A lot of times you might have a marketing project that is related to, you know, customer service has to be informed on it, and then maybe supply chain as well. So we have like intersecting circles in all 3 of those different areas of our functionality. And so that's a way to visually depict that. And so basically there'll be like scheduled end dates, stuff like that in that. So I can view this and be like, okay, these are ending soon, these are ending soon. That means we're gonna be ready to launch these. And that's how the pod system's gonna work, is we have a clearly defined roles and responsibilities, KPIs, targets, scheduling, our communication systems, everything clearly defined for every single pod, big and small. And that'll go in there as well. And then from there, once a pod basically ends, once the project finishes, then we go through a reflection phase, getting asked a bunch of questions, documenting like how were things, how do you think you did, blah, 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 blah. Stuff that kind of might feel a little bit cheesy, but it's gonna be really important that we do it accurately. And I'll have to go into that deeper another time. But basically the reflection phase is meant to like, there's all this information that happens inside of a pod, and these pods are meant to be totally autonomous, like not needing any outside influence whatsoever. We set up the pod, everyone understands their role, everyone understands the purpose. And so long as we're hitting like the targets each week, there's no intervention. So there's a lot of information that stays trapped in this pod, in this bubble. And during the reflection phase, when the pod finishes, That's when the information spreads to like the rest of NOVAEO, and then the resources also spread out to the rest of NOVAEO, i.e. the team members, so that we can reform pods. So then there's like, okay, we just finished that pod. Now we're ready to launch this pod. Okay, we need this role, this role, this role, this role. And then we reform a new pod with different roles based on what the purpose of that pod is. So anyway, why this is going to get even cooler and cooler for you guys is it's going to give you guys a lot of flexibility to communicate what your interests are and what sorts of roles you want to have. No pod will ever last more than 3 months. Even pods that are always going, like customer service, we'll just set a 3-month deadline, meaning at the end of 90 days, we go through the reflection phase. People can discuss if they want to change roles or whatever. Then we reform. If everyone's super happy and everything just went perfectly, I mean, the pod basically reforms exactly as it was before. But at least we got to go through that reflection phase. We get kind of like a new breath of fresh air going into the next 90-day span. But what's most important about this for you guys that relates to us finally doing well financially as a business is those KPIs and those targets. And you guys have heard me talk about this before. I think it goes back in November. But every single pod needs to have key performance indicators, KPIs. Based on those KPIs, we set targets, and based on those targets, we set bonuses. And those bonuses are going to be at the pod level and the individual level. So what I'm trying to gear us towards is that a substantial amount of every individual's income is going to come from various incentive systems. Individual, pod level, and then we're also working towards setting team bonuses, like big picture stuff, like revenue goals. So it's like, you know, if we can hold 700 grand a month for 30 days, boom, launch a team perk, that kind of thing. And with that aspect of things, I'm moving into an idea that we've had for years that we've never been able to afford, which is what we're calling the lifestyle bonuses. So the first one I want to get going is like just basically like maybe physical wellness. So in the future, I want to create programs based on the individual. Like what is the one thing that you should add to your life or subtract from your life to help improve your physical wellness? And someone will be responsible for helping you create a program around that and tracking it. And if you hit your targets, just like in the NOVAEO professional setting, there will be bonuses distributed. For now, to make things easier for us, and because we don't have that dedicated person, that wellness person, we'll just do something team-wide. So we did that contest not too long ago. What was it? It was steps and like walking steps and push-ups. I kind of forget what it was, but something along those lines. Maybe even just steps, maybe even just walking, something like that. For those team members that have any kind of health issues where we need to come up with something a little bit different, we'll do that. So if you're like, dude, I can't do what everyone else can do. Like I have an injury or, sickness that I'm fighting or, whatever the case, don't worry, we'll work with you. But allow for me to right now speak more generically. So speaking generically, we'll come up with quote unquote one goal for everyone to hit. Maybe it's like 6 days a week, 10,000 steps, or at least like 20 minutes of well-intentioned walking each day. I don't know, some way of breaking that down. And then we're going to issue a monetary bonus at the individual level, and then a monetary bonus at the team level if the entire team, or maybe percentage of team, I kind of like entirety, if the entire team hits it. So basically what I'm saying here is salaries plus pod and individual bonuses based on targets. And then we're going to be launching these wellness bonus systems based on hitting team targets. So at the end of the day, these, and then the profit share. So for those that have been around for a while, it's like, man, we were finally profitable. Okay, sweet, we can get that profit share going. So we're also going to be taking a percentage, I think it's around 5% of our month-to-month net profit, and then distributing that to our community members initially. So it takes a minimum of 21 months, I think it was. This is all the stuff that I'm rewriting right now. But basically 21 months to join the NOVAEO community. So you have to be a team member first, and then you get admitted into the community. after you've like really like proven yourself that you understand the culture, you've learned how to be a very autonomous person, like self-management, working in ClickUp really well, these kinds of things. So that'll be something that even if you're not at that level yet, no matter who you are, even if you just started yesterday, it's really not too far out of reach. It's under 2 years. And that profit share is going to really be stacking up over time. I really expect for us to get back up to like the 6-figure profit numbers, by the end of this year. So basically with all of these different things going on, incomes are really going to start climbing. But it is all dependent on us still continually boosting our bottom line on the month-to-month basis. That's ultimately what I'm going to be using in order to launch these other things. So when can you expect the individual bonuses? When can you expect the pod level bonuses? Basically over the next maybe like 2 months, we should have the bulk of them launched. For those of you that communicated, the phrasing I like to use is value discrepancies in your Harmony one-on-ones, meaning you feel that you are creating more value than you are receiving. Or it might not be a discrepancy. Maybe you just want to earn more value. Either way, I really appreciate you guys communicating that in those Harmony one-on-ones. Those Harmony one-on-ones are not meant to be this like stupid, corporate, cheesy box that you have to check. That's just kind of like annoying waste of time. It's genuinely intended to ensure happiness in the team. It is your duty, it is your responsibility, not to NOVAEO, but to yourself, to be very transparent in those one-on-ones, to communicate anything that might be holding you back from like your absolute most like fulfilled sense of self. And so money's an easy one. If money's an issue, it needs to be communicated. And what'll happen, and this is what's happening now for those that have communicated it, is we look at that, and for some people it's like, oh man, holy shit, they really are being underpaid. Fuck, I feel really bad about that. Because sometimes stuff just like, it just gets missed. And in those situations, it's okay. Like, okay, let's do a quick salary adjustment. For some others, it might be, okay, if you want to earn more, here's some more responsibility that you can take on, and where it's going to really get to is I'll be looking at this stuff like, okay, what pods aren't active yet that I would love to make them active? And now that this person's saying that they want to take on more, maybe now we can activate some of these pods so that they can earn more. So that could be the conversation as well. Or for some, I just did some really quick bonuses. If I felt that you are deserving more money, but knowing that those we're going to have individual and pod level bonuses soon, I feel that you are going to be earning your equal value from those bonuses, but because those aren't yet launched, let me kick you a bonus really quick to kind of make up for that time between now and then. So that was the process that I went through for everyone. I think I finished that. I'm going to go back through. I need to double check, actually, make sure I finished going through all that. Oh, I did not finish. I know at least one person that I still need to go through, but that's actually more on the pod KPIs and stuff. Yeah, anyway, so be transparently expressive in those Harmony one-on-ones. And not just about money, like that's one example because that's the easiest one. It's something that's usually where tension resides in the realm of a relationship between an individual and the business that they're working for. So, but really anywhere there's tension or like positivity to express or evolution that you want to have, changes you want to make within your relationship with NOVAEO or whatever, all that stuff really has to get communicated there. All right, so I think I had one more topic to talk about, but I do want to keep these videos a little shorter than I usually do. So I'll do a quick pause now and try to remember what that topic was. And if it's super important, I'll continue. If not, then I won't worry about it. Yeah, I don't know. I don't remember what it was. So without any further ado, thank you guys for listening. Thanks again for the birthday video. That was really awesome. Keep up the good work. And I don't know, like I really feel like the past few years has not been at the energy level that I've always envisioned for NOVAEO. And that ultimately starts with me. I've been overwhelmed. I've been exhausted. Frustrated a lot at times. Sometimes it's frustration just at things in general. Sometimes it's misdirected frustration. Sometimes it's frustration at myself. But frustration has been an overarching emotion for a few years by me. And yeah, I don't know. It's like I kind of feel like if my energy level's not where it ought to be, then that trickles down to you guys, and that's really a disservice. We need to get NOVAEO to a place where there is some degree of excitement to work each day. And I know that sounds ridiculous, but whether it's because we're tracking targets and we want to hit bonuses, that can give excitement, or really just getting in, like the real ideal is to get everyone in a role in a project in which they're passionate about, so that you are actually excited about the building process. Because everything that we're doing, even if it's just foundational, like we're just maintaining structure, everything ultimately is a creative expression. Every person is doing something with some level of creative expression, and therefore there is creation coming out of that, and there needs to be passion built around that. And that's something that we're going to really work towards as well, is bringing everything up a notch emotionally. So for those of you that are just like tend to be pretty positive no matter what, be as expressive as you can in Slack, in Boxer, mostly Slack I guess is where most people talk to each other, or like huddles and stuff. Cool. All right, yeah, I'll cut off here. Thanks guys for watching. Thanks again for the B-Day video.